Ascension.
Welcome to Game-Geki, the show that's raining weird sticker things, because, that's how we roll now here on Silent Hill Ascension. DDK, joined as always by Silent Hill Ascension. As I fade in the embers of today's pre-show,
we will obviously discuss the narrative as usual on Friday.
Loaded with all the narrative discussion you could ever ask for.
It's a wonderful time watching the show. So I will see you back in the post show with Jacob, but in the meantime, have a wonderful time with us.
In a while, Eduardo. Let's bring in the video player. They've added this amazing Make It Rain with Stickers feature, which isn't distracting at all. No. I'm pretty sure it switches off during video play out, but it's here during the pre-shows and I'm guessing post-shows. The big question is, what will be the next important question that will make me spend my little bit of accrued IP there? 9.3k. Burning a hole in my pocket. Whose final fate would that be spent right on?
Tell me, if I could help her, would you still deserve to be Faith's mother?
He's got those tears
you in a direction that
burned into her face.
But do you deserve it?
I don't know. But I'll do whatever I need to earn that right.
It may cost you more than you're prepared for.
He's a costly boy.
I'll do whatever it takes.
There is a door with many locks. The two of you are keys. Push too far, too hard. If you succumb to your worst, you open another lock. That's why Barbara and Aurora took your children. To push you that much closer to the edge.
But our children, how do we save them?
One way or another. You save them from yourselves.
Wait! Who are you?
Been trying to understand
He's the
that
Watcher.
for some time. These visions, maybe they're a gift. But they hurt like a curse. I had hoped my part in all of this would dwindle. But it has only grown. And so I am compelled to see, to connect the dots, to assess.
He's the true
But I
main
do know
character of the
one
show,
thing.
no doubt.
It has to be stopped.
What does?
The Collector.
Is that what you call the great empath?
This is much more than a Foundation Herald squabble.
That's it? You're leaving us?
I was never with you.
Damn.
One way or another, we save
Don't
them
have his
from
support.
ourselves.
Barbara said we were the ones who had hurt our children. Do you think that's what he meant? Rachel?
No, man, Rachel. You're gonna leave me alone in all this eggy methane air.
Rachel?
Daddy, we're almost home, honey.
What is this?
Just need to make it past this wall of people.
Rachel, what are you doing?
Excuse me? Are you okay? Oh my god.
Great empath! Grant us your sight. Open our mind to your vision.
Rachel! Krista! Take Faith and run!
Run, Jill. He's insane.
Everyone inside. What the hell was that?
It means the withering has consumed the whole town. Maybe even beyond ours.
Mommy?
Rachel, if you want to save Faith, we need to perform Ascension.
Can we just wait a second so I can process things?
I left him too.
Anyway, Ascension was the only way.
No, he could still be alive. He's still out there.
Rachel, if you want your daughter to survive this, I need you here, now. I can't do this alone.
If we go through with this, will Faith and I be together?
Townspeople sure are
Purifier
strange.
receives only the best of us into the new world. I meant what I said. I've only ever wanted to save your daughter. You belong with her. Rachel, we joined the Foundation to help people, to rescue them from their worst selves. Whatever's left of this town to save, I can't do it alone. But we have to be willing to move on from our past. All of it.
Nothing the Foundation set up is any good.
Astrid. There you are. Are you okay? Where's Britt?
I don't know.
You really laid out a feast. With bread and beer. Staples.
Astrid, what happened?
Is Orson okay?
Yeah, he's fine. Hasn't made a sound since you left.
He's probably
good.
dead.
He's always been such a good boy.
He
So
has,
much
hasn't he?
more like his father. Sometimes I wonder if he's even mine. Mama, Ava, our whole family. How could something so good come from something bad?
Astrid, you can't...
Damn it. Someone smashed the window.
Come on out, witch!
Oh, vandalism of the highest degree.
We know you have that demon son of yours! Astrid, do you have your father's gun?
It's time to go blasting assholes. Yeah, I thought cameos were supposed to be displayed here. Because there was definitely a cameo in that particular sequence. USS Commanding Cooksey are finally getting their time. Yes, yesterday's cameo was strange because Mr. Faceless seemed to mysteriously get a second go of the cameo. And despite those two having won, so they withheld yesterday's cameo contest just so that the correct people could finally get their go. And here he is, Mr. US Command. You're right there, Mr. Command. Oh my god. Slam. Is your colossal threat? You gotta hold your breath. Cooksey, is that you? Got a nice colourful headphones there. And what I've got is something far greater than headphones. I got a shotgun. Shot. Oh, wrong section. You got to get out of here. There you go.
I got a shotgun.
Not quick enough on the punch to have a shotgun. Have a shotgun any sooner than that. Come on, that went green. The tides are turning now. Get along, little doggy. Bam. Interesting it goes red, but does still count as a perfect. Very strange. She can't just walk out of the Endure with that shotgun still in hand. She's got to drop back down to basic Rayclops. Poor Rachel, whose hope was blasted in the previous Endure sequence when she got herself consumed by the Strangler. The laundromat's filled to the brim with monsters. Eric, we're gonna have to shut you down. Oh wait, he's already been shut down. You know, if you brushed up against one of those things, you'd be absolutely gutted, wouldn't you? You'd be like, oh. There's stuff in here. That and Joe is handled with perfection, I think. Finest work. Ah, my finest work. USS Command, we salute you. And Cooksy too, sure. Oh, he's here. Community succeeded, he says. Take that, Rachel haters. I'm sure she'd be happier melted than having to deal with Faith and Krista. Before the melting comes Ascension. She's got a busy plate on her shoulders. It's really quite the thing, this shower of stickers. A sticker shower. I like that sufficient posts of a sticker result in a shower of whatever was posted. But what's a lot to look at? Perhaps they need to decrease the frequency of which these can happen. I guess it's okay to have maximum frequency during these little countdowns, though, because there's nothing else to look at.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Silent Hill Ascension post show. I am here joined by Jacob, Eduardo, and we're surrounded by Eric stickers, Jacob.
Yeah, well, I mean, finally they like him. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah. Well, speaking of them liking them, so what happened? We got kind of like
We like that he was collected.
Like, oh, Eric's redeemed, talking to his best bud Toby, takes him down. So what happened there?
Well, I mean, there's a break there, right? Because it's both fate and hope, and both of those need to be there in order for him to get the best possible outcome. He was redeemed, which we saw, which is good, but his hope wasn't high enough, and we've said consistently, and you've repeated 100 times at this point, that hope needs to be hope needs to be high enough to survive a crucial story moment. Every time there's a final fate choice, that is when the system measures and changes the outcome based off of it. So Britt was positive hope and redemption. She got the best outcome there was. She's alive. Carl, same deal. Right now we are trending toward a situation where Astrid will be okay. But we are trending toward a situation where Rachel will not.
Trending.
The trickiest part with the assistants too is that they have to mean something over the course of the whole
social engagement
season, right? We can't just, let you arbitrarily flip the switch based off of one successful endurer at the end of it, because then every endurer up until then and every mindfulness puzzle wouldn't have made a difference. And so, especially when the chat was tanking Eric in endure, that harmed his hope quite a bit, and not contributing enough into the mindfulness puzzles quite a bit. We haven't changed those settings, right? Those have been consistent. So it's really been about the contribution of the audience. So there's a little bit more time left to make the improvements for both Astrid and for Rachel in terms of their hope, and to keep them on that redemption path. But, we are steadily running toward their final fates.
Well, that's actually, I guess,
We were
part
disgusted with the
reason to be
Morgie,
here, 'cause
and we had to
to
take
be
Eric
fair, it
to
is
feel
public.
better.
It did get announced on some social platforms. I actually saw that, but the end of the canon run. So, Jacob, we're able to say when the last scenes will air. Our production team's going to put up on screen some info, which I'll read. And
When
I'll
is the
hand
end?
it over to you to kind of run us through it. But as our production team puts that up. End of canon run. The last scenes of the canon run
April
in Silent Hill Ascension
24th.
will air on Wednesday, April 24th at 6 p.m. PT Pacific time. This is the usual time.
I hope that's not a
You
randomly
will
different
be able to
time. That
tune
would
in
really
live with our host
confuse.
team at 5:40 p.m. Pacific as we close the curtain on the story. And together, we will experience Astrid and Rachel meeting their final fate. So that's the kind of top level side of things. But yeah, Jacob, it's been a run.
It's been a run. I said
A
in all the interviews leading
wild
up to
ride.
Ascension's launch that we were looking at about a 6-month run time for the main canon. We've hit that. It's almost exactly 6 months since the launch of the project, and this is actually longer than we originally expected, because it was a 16-week original experience that should have ended late February, but when we made the change from 7 days a week to 5 days a week, it got extended as a result. So we are a little bit later than I expected, but that's also why the announcement on the last canon scenes is coming now, because we ourselves didn't know when the finale was going to run. We're building the show as we're doing it with you guys, the audience, and we've progressed far enough that we know basically when the last scenes are going to air at this point in time, which is good. That means the last endure is going to be the day before the 23rd, because once the ending is done, it doesn't make sense to run endure again. And then from there, we move immediately into What If. So I can talk about that if that's interesting.
Yeah, we can go into
So
it. Like,
What
if
If
we
is
don't
a
want to
immediate
that,
thing.
the 24th is a can't miss show. If you like tuning in live to our shows, definitely make time on the 24th. Very much worth your time. We're gonna make it worth your time. I know the hosted show team, so to speak. We're little trying to put something a little bit special, for that little last day. Let's talk about What If, because while it is the last show of the canon run, so to speak, it's not the end of us showing up on screen, because we have we call it the What If season. We try to find a more catchy name, but we'll have a What If show essentially, Jacob. So I'll let you handle the details there.
Yeah, so the way that this is going to work is the following. We have filmed, and you have seen, even recently you've seen, that we have all of the alternate scenes that should air every single night. And sometimes the system does wrong things, or things are input wrong, and you see a scene that's wrong relative to what the choice was, and we fix it in the VODs later. So the content is there, it's built. There were basically 1,000 or so different ways that the series could have run based off of all of the different choices involved. I don't just mean the choices that happen each night, because there are 3 of them, but you see that we have things called callbacks, where events that you guys chose in the past
we'll know
come back in a reference, right, creating a continuity between all of those scenes.
Branches. So to speak.
Those callbacks are part of what creates all those variations. So I've been talking about this on social media, but there are 6 different ways that a character can end up. Redemption plus good hope, redemption plus bad hope, suffering plus good hope, suffering plus bad hope, damnation plus good hope, damnation plus bad hope. So that's 6 different ways something can end. But if you look at just Toby's, ending, there were 45 different ways that scene can go down, because they reference previous content. The characters talk about different events that had happened in the past. And so, it's not just the 6 versions there, but it's also including 2 references to previous callbacks, each of which had 3 options each. So, becomes a much larger multiplication of it. And so the way that we've been building the series,
.gg/ all those letters.
Way that it had been built was everything was real-time rendered and real-time run, and the engine was managing the state of all of the different characters and choices and decisions. And Behavior built an entire world state manager for this purpose, and Endure actually still runs off of real time, and I'll talk more about that in a second. But we ran into issues prior to launch where the engine just couldn't render the metahumans at high enough quality with all the facial hair when we had 2 or more in a scene. So what we began doing to make sure that quality of the visuals was high enough was we would record those, offline render them, and then put them into the engine. Basically film them as scenes, which is why they look really good. Endure is still real time. And that's why you get in Endure, for example, pop-ups and inconsistency with lighting and hair, because it's not a pre-rendered video. It's the engine rendering all the characters in real time. But the engine right now is taking the scenes that we've filmed, and based off of your choices, showing them. And so the way we've been filming it is, as you've been making the choices, we've been rendering those scenes on big, beefy machines. That
so that's why the cinematic side needs more time for the cameos to work.
Core and Tubi and everything else. And we have every scene that had to potentially run each night. So as an example, for the scenes that would air tonight, or for the scenes that would air with Eric, every possible version of it was prepared. But what we didn't do was every previous possible past variation based off of the world state manager. So as an example, let's use Eva getting the gun versus not getting the gun. So we chose to give Eva the gun in the canon run. Both scenes, Eva getting the gun and Eva not getting the gun, were filmed. But going forward, all the scenes that we filmed assume that Eva got the gun, because that was how the canon run worked. So the way that it's going to work in What If is you guys are going to see all of the scenes that we have filmed, that we have prepared, that we have rendered.
Maybe just for the what ifs,
and so
just
you're
knock
going
the
to see all
quality
the
down.
alternates that you didn't get to watch, but they are always going to collapse back to the canon choices, because that's the way in which we filmed the series. So you'll see Eva not getting the gun. But going forward, the next scene after that is still going to refer to Eva getting the gun, because those are the scenes that we filmed. Similarly, you'll see the choices where Rachel takes out her eye, takes out Eric eye,
experience
etc.
damnation.
But after you see the alternate versions of that
Or
scene
suffering.
going forward, it's always going to be Rachel with the eye missing, because otherwise we've got 1,000 variations possible there.
Well,
so the What If is going to give you an opportunity to see everything that we filmed, and we filmed a massive amount of additional content there, but it will always collapse back to the canon that the audience has built, and that's really important for us. The way that we're going to be working this is
Redemption Rails convert to suffering.
We're going to reopen the moment that the last canon run stream airs. So we're basically restarting this. It's a pseudo new game plus, as it were. And all of your points should still be there. And if you didn't collect those early moments, you're going to get a chance to recollect those moments through this process. And I've missed one, shamefully. I don't know how that happened. I guess I forgot to bid that day. But you'll be able to collect those moments again. And then those decisions will close at the end of the week. We'll open the next week's decision, and the following day, we're going to have a show with Eduardo and team. I think Noah is running the first few weeks of that, where we'll show the alternate scenes, and we'll talk to you about it. And all those alternate scenes that get unlocked through What If are going to be available through a special What If section of the app and through the playlist. So you will see basically versions where Eric lives at the end of it, all of the different kind of versions of it that you would normally
What If
to
stuff
get
in the app
through like a Bandersnatch thing. But we're going to make you work to get it. So you do have to unlock those decisions by participating each week, and the puzzles will still be available. The whole back catalog of puzzles plus new puzzles each day will be there. And we don't have an end date for What If in the same way that we don't have an end date. We didn't have an end date up until recently for the main season. So it'll go on as long as we need to unlock all the choices there. But man, it's going to be a continuously long journey here. We're kind of restarting everything from the beginning, which is going to be exciting. We massively improved the visual pipeline, so you'll go back on that journey again. We've got our first few weeks of animation, and then we get a lot better after we fixed our pipelines in the winter break. And part of that actually came from shifting resources from Endure to cinematics. So I said I would speak more to Endure. Endure is all real time. It's very hard. And there were many other locations for Endure, including Factory.
I was aware of the locations
and
intended
a few
for
other
it.
sets. And we had to make a call back in basically November or so. If we were
That
going
makes
to
way more
put the
sense. It
cinematic
seems like there should have been.
into Endure or improve the cinematics in the show, and we decided to put the resources that were there in Endure into the show. So we built additional Endure scenes, but we didn't go and build all those new locations, and the benefit is the cinematics look way better. But these are just the way in which resources work in any game production. And I think that you've seen the results, and we're very happy with those results. So that's it. We're not going to be running Endure during What If, because hope doesn't matter in the What If series, which is to say, whatever hope outcome the character resulted in, which right now it's looking like 3 positive, 3 negative, we're going to show you the opposite of it, because rerunning and resulting in the exact same.
Okay, so for example, just sorry to interrupt. So for example, Eric here, negative hope. So in the what if season, we're going to see positive, right?
We're going to see the positive.
Positivity.
Okay. I'd rather just show the opposite.
So basically,
Power
Norway and
of
Pennsylvania reverse
positivity.
polarity, so to speak. Okay, got it.
Precisely. Yeah. The whole purpose of the Endures was to adjust the
shapeshifter.
hope system.
I forgot all about the puzzles.
Along with the mindfulness puzzles. So we're gonna make those things irrelevant. You're gonna be able to just see the opposites of it. We're unlocking it for you.
Okay.
So that's it. I think I've given a general overview. And then we've got our next series coming up. So as we are winding down on this and preparing for What If, we've got Borderlands and DC coming. So the teams are going to be keeping quite busy. But
Everyone's favorite, this.
Take audience questions, things that people are curious about, anything I didn't address.
Yeah, I'll recap quickly some of your key points from What If, and then I have a few audience questions here, and then obviously you can continue audience with me. If you're keeping track, don't worry. We see the stuff. So one of the big things, right, is there's a live show with What If.
There we go.
We'll get the details. Like obviously, like on Friday and Monday, we're gonna get we're gonna recap kind of the What If details, so that none of you in the audience are going to miss out on anything. We'll make sure that's there. But Jacob, obviously, you gave a lot more detail.
I was so enthralled in the future of this series.
If you like our company,
I didn't get
to
started.
That, which is, well, I'm looking forward to it. Now, I got some questions here that we held. So, Johnny Zombie Boy, Jacob, should Eric have gone with Krista?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, I really wanted to see that. I was pushing for that. I'm very disappointed we didn't get that. I was secretly putting points toward that, even though we're not supposed to.
Damn it.
People here can't tell me what to do, so it's the benefit of it. But
going against the system
I
there.
Couldn't make the difference there.
No, it's not a redemption enough whale.
I like Krista. I like her. She's the only one who's really honest, and has been from the beginning, and has been consistent, and has been upfront, and in my opinion, isn't deceptive.
Oh, yeah. No, you can hate her, but she's not deceptive about it. And you gotta have characters you love to hate and you love to love. It's important.
She wants everyone to do a terrible ritual.
I think she would have been better with their
Ascension ritual. It can't be good.
Oh well, that's for sure. That I think is a no-brainer. Given how great that relationship is. Now, Mr. Peacelot, this is a more specific, individual question. But Jacob, please explain the cameo I got without winning one. I'm so confused.
Oh, yes.
So
we won a
you
cameo.
and
Bonus
Atai,
cameo.
I don't know how to pronounce the name. We're both using a similar beard that the real-time engine was having trouble with rendering in Endure that day. We were testing it, as we test with everything, and we weren't seeing the beard pop up. I think we fixed it.
Oh, they finally fixed the beard problem.
But in any case, your character wasn't appearing correctly, so I told the team put him in a cinematic cameo, and that's what they did. And when you run the thing, you can make calls like that. So,
well,
congrats.
Mr. Feaslash got the presidential treatment there. Excellent stuff.
Pretty curious. I can answer this one because you answered it, Jacob. So no more Endure after the canon story? Nope. Drew, will there still be daily puzzles, or how will influence points work?
Yeah, there's still daily puzzles. So we're not going to be doing the super complicated ones like Buried Memories, but the ones that are easily repeatable will have new ones each day. I don't think as many as we're doing each day right now, but still new ones each day.
Nothing particularly
and if you've missed
mind-blowing.
Rewards, you'll still be able to earn the rewards through that process.
Possibly not even car repair. You never know.
Go off sale at the point at which we're doing What If. So no more opportunity to purchase those. The only way in which you'll be able to earn influence points is
through these exquisite
puzzles and goals. Your daily goals, as usual.
So I'm gonna read now back. Arte
Speaking of which, my daily quota of puzzles
I'll read it,
is complete.
Are there any hidden ships we missed this run?
Oh, that's a good question.
Hidden ships.
I think that Eric and Krista was the main one that we didn't get enough to see of. But
today's question
I'm
here.
excited to see where Hagrid goes, because it looks like they've broken up. But
Alaric
Yeah,
reacts
looks-
You
to
never
Krista's
know
olive branch.
how
Bury the
we
hatchet.
continue to change
Eject
that.
her. Make a
And those
bag.
endings that are coming for
Krista means nothing good.
Astrid
Reject her.
and Rachel have a lot of complications and a lot of branches based off of everything that the audience has done up until now. So
Can't trust her.
this,
Can't be
this is
trusted.
where
Despite the fact that,
the products
people
that we build are
they've
very
made it.
different than,
Trying to have
for
suggested
example,
that she can be trusted,
you know,
maybe.
like a standard choose your own
There you
adventure.
go. I'll
type
go with whatever
title
that rally
because,
was so that I can get the points.
in something like a Dragon Age or a Mass Effect 3, you know, where you've got just like massive numbers of dialogues, they tend
See if I can
to
unstuck
always
it.
just resolve back into this. But the way in which we've been building the product, again, we're adjusting scripts and we're adjusting animations, we're filming, we're literally having debates right now with our Cinemax director Augustin about some of those final scenes and how we're filming them. They're all based off of the choices you guys have made. If you hadn't made those choices, the scenes would not be the way that they are. And again, those scenes are television and still be watchable decades from now. And so they create meaning. We're able to invest ourselves into that meaning in different ways. And so those relationships are real. Like I've loved adventure games since I was a kid. Like I loved the Monkey Island series.
It's sort of an adventure
I was
game,
at
this,
Square
isn't it?
Enix. We did the Life is Strange series. I loved it, but I was always bothered with like, what is the actual canon ending here supposed to be? Right, especially at the end of Life is Strange, where you have to make that kind of horrible decision, whether that best friend that you love should live or die. And it was like, which one is real here? Do I have to listen to the developers tell me which is real? Is because I chose it, is it real?
I still have my
But,
copy
you know,
sealed of that one. I don't know what to do with it yet, but we'll figure that out. We got a few more questions, so I have a mix here. So there were a few people asking about a physical release. I think there's an idea of like, oh, is the canon run going to be something I can basically, I guess, let's call it a VHS, the canon run. Like, or
Maybe the
something.
Konami
This
shop
question
might sell
last summer was
something.
on here, and the answer is anything physical is Konami's domain, not mine. So if you want it, you've got to ask them. It's the reason that when you go and you buy the merch, which I'm wearing the drama shirt, it's Konami's website. So
Nice merch plug
write to
that.
them, tell them you want Blu-ray releases and a vinyl of the soundtrack and everything else that I want, and knock on wood that we can get it.
Okay, that answers Rainer's question on any merch coming. It's in the same. There was a question: what if Carl never left? Would he have died? That's part of, I think, the pleasure of What If is you do get to see this kind of stuff. We had a few questions on buried memories. I'm going to use.
But the important thing with Carl, though, is that even though we're going to see the alternate where he dies, and we're also going to see alternate kind of fates for him, it's still going to connect back to canon when we see the scenes after that. So unfortunately, you're not going to see versions of it where he's continuing throughout it, because the canon branch is still what we've been filming for the last 6 months.
Okay.
That's really confusing.
So we have Jimmy Johnson
kind of
127.
get what you
Will
mean.
all the old buried memories puzzles be available?
Yes. Those are very hard, and we don't give you enough time to do those. So yeah, I told the team to throw open the entire archive.
I always thought it odd.
The time to be
Hard.
able to do them. They're a lot of fun. They're also really hard to do.
10-minute
And
puzzles.
really hard to localize. Like some of those word puzzles
That
done in
same
Portuguese and Japanese, especially
award.
things that connect to like books and
Those
folklore. are really
Easy
difficult.
50-second puzzles.
That's good to know. We had some. I think this is a question, but I think it's a suggestion as a result. Sorrel, will mindfulness puzzles get an influence point boost for completion since the hope system aspect will be voided?
I'll talk to the team about it. I mean, there's no reason why not to, but they're also kind of consistent with the other puzzles as far as I know. So it's more a question of, do we adjust the number of points you get for every puzzle?
The chat have fashioned their own
Especially
unofficial
with,
Discord.
I guess the previous results in that's
to
gonna be
live on
nuts.
after
Somebody,
the show is done, I guess.
D1 asked, will rerun last as long as canon run 21 weeks? So I'm going to answer this. You said, like, we're going to see how long it lasts, but, I mean, to start with, we'll do week by week.
Yeah, so I'll just answer straight up. I don't know right now. It really depends on whether the audience wants to stick around for it or not. If you
Oh,
guys
I
stick around
see.
for
So
it,
they
then
would
I'll
literally
keep
do
it
the whole
going
thing
throughout-
if there was enough of an
basically will
audience.
run until October. But if there's dwindling interest in it, then we'll just unlock stuff for you, and that'll be the end of it. It was meant to be a way for the community to keep going and unlock stuff, but I'll make things available. Not everything, but some parts of it available if there just isn't enough demand to keep it going. It's
tend
really a
to
bonus. We look at it as
take a
like
look at it,
unlocking
but
the DVD
covering the whole
bonuses that
thing
you'd get
for
on those old school Blu-rays.
6
We don't
months.
get that in this
It's just
streaming age.
much too difficult
anymore
for
with
me
all
to
those
do the
fun
2
extra
a.m.
discs
starts
that come.
over and
But
over
that's
again.
the way that I looked at One If. It's your bonus disc.
It'll kill me.
And as long as you guys are here for it and you're interested and excited for it, I'll keep it going. It's fine. Chat will continue for the next while. But later into What If there's just not enough chat interaction going to justify it, we'll probably switch to stickers only outside of the hosted show. We'll make a call on it later this summer. Just because there is a moderation team watching the chat any point in time, but what we don't want is we've got,
someone has been moderating this the whole time,
and we've got low, user numbers happening because it's over, and then chat just becomes a troll fest again. So that's I have to see how many people are coming back for
gotta
What
keep
If
the
to make that call.
trolls out.
So we also had a question on can we expect connections to the town of Silent Hill in the next week? I guess they can watch. We got a week to go. They can see what's up.
Yeah, I'm not going to spoil content either way.
That's actually one of the tenets of our show is we don't spoil content. Well, except for Life is Strange, apparently. There was actually a bunch of people in the audience like, "Oh no, we can't," which I thought was good.
I didn't say what the choice was. I just said that it was an important choice.
It's also been a while, right? I know what I am aware of what happens in the original Final Fantasy VII at this point. Having not played the title, I do know what happens.
I mean, any product that's more than a couple years old, you're past your point in spoilers. Guess what happens at the Red Wedding of Game of Thrones, people?
Oh no, not the Red Wedding!
To be fair, if you don't know, that scene is worth watching, but that's a different. So we also had, I think honestly, there were a ton of questions on season 2. I'm not going to name anybody here, but a lot of chance about it. I think you've talked about it before, but any details here?
Yeah, I'll repeat what I said. Right now, as a company, we have to get Borderlands and DC out the door. So as much as I would love to be able to do more, we don't have the staff to focus on that right now. So help us win a Webby Award. It's still going up until tomorrow. We want to be able to
they got a
say
whole
the
day
award
left
on
before the
Ascension.
voting closes.
And then help us out with our
Looking
our next few projects.
good for the
The
Webby.
lessons that we've learned here are really going to strongly improve those projects, and then we can get back to working on the things that everybody loves. But we have an entire roadmap of content that we have to get to, and I am very excited for the way in which we've learned what worked and didn't work in Ascension for the next couple of titles. Eduardo, you know what's coming in terms of next. You've seen of how we've done those improvements, and those projects look amazing. So please do come show up for it and help support us.
To be fair, I think the audience will get another chance to see how much this Silent Hill Ascension itself improved, right? Because for the audience, I've been rewatching some of the older the older scenes, and there's a difference. We'll enjoy it. It's kind of like
yeah.
But yeah, so. To be honest, I think we've answered most of the audience questions. A lot of maybe we haven't got into your questions, audience, and also there's a few questions like when Borderlands and when.
Yeah, we can't answer those here like that.
This isn't the Borderlands channel.
It wouldn't be fair to Warner Brothers or
Silent Hill Ascension channel.
Those will be answered in time.
Yeah,
totally separate.
So yeah, they're like no more labels in the future for some people, but yeah. I think
that is one of the lessons. Look, I mean, we learned a lot here, right? That one is definitely a lesson that we learned that makes products better. But go ahead.
Right. I'll give you a last question, like a little bit of a fun one, and then a last statement, and then we'll close it down. But did we miss any Bruiser scenes because of our choices? I think there was a fan of the Bruiser, Midnight Toe, and they wanted to see more of them Are there more scenes with the Bruiser that we just missed?
I didn't see Bruiser too much.
That is a good question. That's a question for Stefan rather than me, though. I don't have the mental memory of every alternate state, but probably. I mean, we saw him in the background of a couple scenes in Pennsylvania, but I don't recall whether he
He's
is
just
or is
roaming in the
not.
backgrounds.
Yeah.
Here's a Bruiser.
There's a question about cameos in What If. I think we're keeping them as is, right?
Yeah, every cameo that happened is the same in What If, because the way that it worked was you won the cameo for all three possibilities that day, right? So all three renders of the different choices had your cameo in it. So that's it. There's no more cameo contests once What If starts. You have been permanently in that story, even in the extras.
Yeah. Okay.
Good to see Leonardo live
we're
or die again.
But I'll
Whoa.
read some last statements, Jacob. We had Rainimer thanking us. Lots of fun. Can't believe just a few weeks left. I mean, it's literally next week. We will be different people on the other side, literally.
Broken.
No,
deep inside.
I think that's mainly it. The audience had a good time from what I can read here. I didn't mention the stuff around the soundtracks. There was a lot of love for the soundtracks as well.
Yeah, music's amazing, man. I love it too.
So that's good. So I think on that note, we should kind of close it down for tonight. I'm gonna ask our kind of production crew to put up our next show, right? So I could actually tell you what the literal next free shows are.
So I guess they're following this for
We got Friday,
the
we
week
got Monday,
coming.
we got Wednesday. That's it. There are literally free hosted shows left. There are two more scenes, obviously, tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific and Tuesday as well at 6 p.m. Pacific. You do get to experience more scenes, so those will still be there. But from the host side, we'll be there. And then we'll be there at What If. We'll literally be the What If show. We will show the scenes.
You are the What If show.
The ones.
Yeah.
So, you'll, and for the community, we want to make sure you get kind of your weekly hangout time. A lot of you were like, oh, what do I do? I'm going to lose it. So we're going to try to keep it up so that you have a little bit of a weekly time. It's like, Jacob, as you know, the other projects, they're in the oven. They need time to cook. It's like, we'll take care of hosting people, having some tea, some biscuits, make sure that everybody's nice and relaxed as the cake cooks. So
as we get ready for what's coming. Yeah, we're excited.
Yeah, or somebody's left drinking.
Well,
somebody's left drinking at the hotel, the Ice Hotel, by the way. I hope.
Yeah, cold ice
if
hotel.
I could say some last words, because I'm not showing up on any of the other streams. I told the host this is your show going forward. I want to thank
tipped
everybody
his hat.
who's showing up
What a
every day
gentleman.
since the beginning. That positive community is something that Konami and our production teams have noticed and really find meaningful.
We are nothing.
I wish we had been able to
Not
build it
stubborn.
from the start and not been troll bombarded to have to shut chat off for the first month and a half. But you can't control what you can't control, and we've improved the systems enough that hopefully for the next projects we won't have those issues at launch. But again, we
Trolls
appreciate
eat the
everything.
chat
We've
for
been
2
trying to
months.
keep every promise that we made, and we thank everybody for the feedback that we've been able to use to improve the products. And again, just wanted to say from the dev team, thanks for being here.
No, thank you, Jacob, for the last words for the audience. And I see a lot of love from the audience. And I did want to shout out the people who are probably on the European continent checking our show at 2, 3 a.m. That's a pretty good commitment.
We appreciate that too.
6 months
I mean,
of
look,
2 a.m.s.
We're all just AI.
Ah!
Right? You're AI, and Roman say all of us are just AIs. So, we could just do this forever.
I mean, my hair can't be generated correctly. It's just a mess every time.
Look, all those voice actors that we've had are definitely AI. So, we AI appreciate everything from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you.
That's fair. All right, everybody. They're excited about the hat off and all that. But we're going to shut it down for tonight. I hope all of you had a lovely time wherever you are around the world, whether it's morning, afternoon, evening, night, deep night, extremely deep night. We do appreciate it. Thank you, Jacob, again for being here. There's a few more shows left, so it's still not the end of it. We will see you though in those future shows. So again, tomorrow you've seen 6 p.m. Pacific, and on Friday, 5:40
Does
p.m.
kind of explain
Pacific.
now why the show
That'll
seems to look
that
a
should
little bit
be,
better
Noah and Layla keeping
this
you company.
year than it did last year.
Please do take care.
I
And we'll see you
was
next
sure
time.
that it improved slightly. Well, with that wild ride, I reckon that'll do for today. Join us, well, tomorrow, I suppose, for more Silent Hill Ascension. GG.